Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you just some of the stuff that I like to get done in the morning time for prep work, creating all of our meals from scratch. So we first start off by showing you that I'm making some pizza, but what I first do in the morning is I'm using actually just making a casserole, really simple from scratch. I had some old bread that wasn't moldy yet, so don't worry about that. I just ripped it up to put it in the bottom. I sprayed it with some homemade cooking spray just so it wouldn't stick. Then I'm just going to go ahead and scramble up some eggs, a bunch of eggs that we have from our lovely laying hens. I'm going to go ahead and pour that on top to create a breakfast casserole, easy peasy. You can add any kind of veggies. You can add crumbled up cooked bacon or sausage or anything like that. You can sprinkle some salt and pepper or whatever spices that you prefer. And of course, we got to make some cheese. This is some homemade cheddar cheese that I make and that I absolutely love. And we use it for pizza and casseroles and every type of thing. Next up, I'm going to be making some homemade smoothies. Easy peasy. I like to add in a banana just to help make it creamy, and then also the avocado, just because that really helps with your brain and your thinking and everything like that. We're going to go ahead and add in some Greek yogurt that we make as well. And all these recipes are going to be on my site, foodprude.com, and I'll link to them below. We also have the some organic raw milk. Oh yes, I said raw milk. No big deal. I also have some elderberry syrup that I need to use up, so I put a dash in there. Then I like to throw in some psyllium husks or some super greens or some super fruit. That other red one was like some beets and stuff that I got from Costco. Some nutritional yeast, some hemp hearts, some other things that typically you'd rather grind up on demand. But I did not. So we just put them in there and mix it all up. See, there's the super greens, the dehydrated tops from carrots and such. And then, of course, you need some actual flavor that's good. So some frozen strawberries. So next up I'm making is some homemade cottage cheese. I'm using Azure Standard has wonderful organic vinegar, which is so hard to find. And the price isn't too bad. So I heated up the milk probably to 190. And then I'm going to add in my vinegar, which is going to help solidify the fat, which is going to make it curds. I'm going to give it a nice stir, not rough or anything like that. And I'm going to set this aside for a little bit so it can start to or like curd up. That's part of the process of doing that. And then let's see what we're going to make next. All right. Oh, this is my one of my favorite ones that I recipe for sourdough that I make all the time. It's my sourdough honey butter rolls. Absolutely one of my favorites. This is from originally from Butter for All. Her website is fantastic, and she's such a sourdough, an amazement person of sourdough. So this is definitely her recipe, but it's on my site as well. So I mixed up the dough the night before, let it ferment all night long, so it starts breaking down all that, using that wild yeast to break down all that gluten, so it's easier for us to do. And I'm just sectioning it off, and I don't measure. Some people like to make sure that they're equal and stuff like that. I just want to get stuff done. And this is how I simply do it. So I used my bench scraper, which really helps to cut the dough in half without like ripping it apart. And then I'm using a pinch and fold method. So I'm just putting it in my hand and I'm pinching from the top to the bottom. And then I'm putting them upside down in the melted butter. And eventually, when I get them all done and cut, I will go ahead and swirl them around in the butter and then flip them over so that the smooth side is up on top. And that's the part that you're going to see when you bake it. So that'll be nice and pretty. I think sourdough is one of the best ways to do bread. It has really helped a lot of people, even if they were trying to be gluten free and they were able to handle sourdough with the grains, especially if you do an ancient grain, which I do absolutely love doing freshly milled grains. I have that on my website as too. But this recipe that I'm showing right here is just a white artisan flour, baker's flour from Azure Standard that I really like. It works really good. I get it in 50-pound bags. I store it in a container in my kitchen and then just keep refilling it as I go through it, which can be quite a bit. So with sourdough, the honey butter rolls, they are a little sticky, but that's what makes them that awesome, super soft and fluffy type of roll. And we use these rolls for sandwiches, for a side thing of dinner. I mean, you could do PB and J's, you could do pulled pork, you can do all kinds of stuff. And there you see that I'm going ahead and flipping very fast. That's how fast I'm in real life. Not fast. Flipping it over in the butter. And then I'm just using the bench scraper to kind of clean off the stuff, which is a great tool to use, especially when you're getting some sticky dough that's on your counter. And then I'm using my homemade spray, which is on my website as well. It's just vinegar and water and some essential oil like lemon tree or lemon. And these I made the night before, some homemade tater tots. And I'm kind of separating them. I'm going to flash freeze them and then bring them out to put them in food saver bags to easily just pop out my own homemade tater tots and I don't have to buy them. We grow a boatload of potatoes each year, like about 500 pounds. So we are always using lots of potatoes for everything. All right, next up, I am making the sourdough naan bread. And first, I pulled it out of the container and I am rolling them, sectioning it off, and I'm rolling them up just to start to get it to relax a little bit. And apparently, I'm going to save the tin foil as well. Why not? Cover it up. You never know what's going to be on there. We'll let that sit and rise for a little bit. I'm also going to be making some spaghetti squash for dinner along with that cheese that you saw. So I was just getting that ready, getting that cut in half, which is so hard. And then I'm going to put it in the oven with some olive oil and bake it for a while so I can scoop out all that spaghetti squash. Now up for the breakfast will be with some smoothies. So I love these smoothies because it's all stainless steel except for the silicone lid. And clean that up again. Gotta keep cleaning it. And here is after I strained my cheese. I am putting it in I used a cheesecloth, put it in my glass container, and sprinkle some salt on there and kind of work it in because it does need some salt. And I love salt. And I'm using Redmond's real salt. It's one of my favorite salts to use for absolutely everything, for canning, for preserving, for food, for every day, for my table salt. It's a really fantastic salt to use. So check them out, called Redmond's Real Salt. So I'm just kind of working up, breaking it up so I can use it for dinner later. Now I think, oh yeah, check out those honey butter rolls. Don't they look just absolutely perfect? All right, go and use my freeze saver to go ahead and section off those cute little tater tots so I can just easily open them up just like you would if you're from a store, but these are from scratch from everything that we made here on the homestead and grew on the homestead. So now we're going to work on making the naan bread to make our pizza. So I just took each, section and flatten it out. You could use your hand or not. And then I'm grilling them up on a cast iron pan on the stove top really quick, flipping them on each side so they get the little bit of charred brown marks. And then I'm going to put my homemade pizza sauce and that homemade cheese and then get them in the oven and bake them. And that will be